Kabir. I don't remember ever being excited and filled with dread at the same time. After one very long month in the hospital, it was time for me to go home. I looked out the window at the same view that had kept me company for so many weeks. Every morning I woke up to the same building tops, and every night I watched them dissolve into the darkness to be replaced by the lights from inside those buildings. Some days I liked the consistency. It was something I could focus on when I was trying to ignore the constant nag of pain. I hurt all the time. It was always there, reminding me of that horrible day. Some moments the medication could keep it more manageable, but other times, especially before my next dose of painkiller was due, the pain took over more and more of my mind, rising like a great, ugly, fire-breathing beast. No matter my level of pain, it always came as a sharp, white dagger whenever the doctor came and poked at me. I knew they had to check on me and check my progress, but even something as light as a stray hair on my new skin was agony. Forget when the doctors prodded or the nurses changed my bandages. I learned this in the hospital. The winds will blow and howl around you. The rains will threaten and terrify. You will reach a point when you don't know if you can survive. But know this, the wind will blow themselves out. The clouds will empty of the rain. Gradually the storm ends so slowly that you won't even notice at first. You will emerge changed, not altered by the elements but by your own will to survive. Gradually, the intensity of my pain diminished. It was still there, still a great beast in my room, ready to bite at me when I least expected it. But it was getting better, and now I was going home. So why was I dreading that change that I so desperately desired at the same time? I knew I would be happy to be home. Yes, to be in my own bed, to sit in my favorite chair that Nisha said was too ugly to keep, to smell the scents of her cooking instead of this plastic antiseptic smell that I was sure was going to cling to me like an aura for years to come, to hear my precious Gianna giggling or even arguing stubbornly that she wanted another biscuit or didn't want a bath. I didn't care. I just wanted to be a part of every phase of her toddlerhood. And the dread? Sadly, the list was much longer. Even just going home scared me to death. That hot, pressing sun outside the climate control of the hospital. My baby's skin was so sensitive now. Even a degree or two marked the difference between comfort and agony. While I was at the hospital, Nisha, Vivan and Meera encouraged me to go outside and sit in the lush green hospital courtyard. But I was careful to sit in the shade. It was safe, predictable. Sure, a small breeze might blow the branches above me, but if that happened, I could scamper inside. Now, what if the car I was to go to home and turned a corner and suddenly my burns were exposed to blistering sunlight? And when I got home, how could I protect myself from that scampering, energetic toddler? I used to love it when Gianna would jump in my lap. What if she did that when I wasn't expecting it? I didn't want to keep my little girl away from me, but I had to protect myself from getting hurt. She would be terrified if I reacted to the pain and cried out. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I needed to stay in the hospital for another week. Even a day or two, I didn't care. I would be healed that much more. I sat heavily on the chair in my room, turning my back to the window. If I was going to stay here longer, those buildings would drive me crazy. The hospital bill beside me wasn't giving me any strength. I don't think I was supposed to see it yet, but in these last few days in the hospital, I wandered the halls, gaining some endurance, pushing my smoke-damaged lungs to heal faster. One day I entered the billing office and requested a copy of my bill. I knew someone was keeping track of it, and I was a patient after all. I suspected that Nisha had a copy of the mounting cost, but she kept it from me until that moment. So, sitting beside me on the hospital bed, I was expected to abandon today was the monetary value of my care. My surgeries, the medicines, the rounds from each doctor and nurse, the cost of living in my semi-private room, what happened in a few moments at Cafe Kabir that day. Really, the time it took to take and fill an order for the most basic cup of coffee came with a price tag of 10 lakh rupees. 10 lakhs. How could so much damage be done in such a short amount of time? And how could we possibly pay this bill? Ivan walked into my hospital room, a huge grin on his face. Ready to go home? He said, beaming and rubbing his hands together in heavy expectation. I quickly tugged away my reservations, but my brave, tight-lipped smile must have given me away. Nisha always said my smile was like a television screen, projecting my feelings honestly and clearly, no matter how much I may try to hide them. Vivan's eyebrow cocked and questioned, and he sat down on the hospital bed in front of me. His feet swung helplessly before he reached for the controls and lowered the bed. Then, with his shoes planted firmly on the hospital tile, he rested his elbows on his knees and leaned forward. "Talk to me, Kabir," he ordered. I snorted a little dismissively and looked away from his piercing bright glance. "Talk to you about what? What is bothering you?" "I know something is," he responded, "after being here for so many weeks. I was thinking you'd be running out that door." There was no sense in lying to my good friend. After all, he and Mira had shown their faithfulness and dedication this month. They didn't hesitate to set their own lives aside to help both me and Nisha. Mira was an endless source of strength for Nisha, helping her with Gianna at the apartment so Nisha could be by my side, giving her support every moment when my own confidence in my healing would fail. I knew, even though Nisha never confessed any weak moments, that Mira was there holding her up when she faltered as well. So, when Nisha was with me, she was a ball of positive energy. And Vivan, I didn't know if he and Nisha had worked out a schedule between them. But if she wasn't with me, he was. I was never alone. If I was sleeping, I would wake to see Vivan quietly sitting in a chair reading a book. And if I was awake, he was there. The doctors and nurse were fantastic, but he had this uncanny way of seeing what I needed and wordlessly making it happen. It was Vivan who broke the news to me that Cafe Kabir had been destroyed. I didn't know for sure what had happened to my business, and when I'd ask Nisha, she would smile, pat my bed, and declare that we'd work everything else out. "Nisha, please." I usually left her alone about the cafe because when I pushed, she'd get this pained twitch like lemon juice had just squirted her in the eye. I guess I knew the truth because I didn't push the issue. I had already brought so much discomfort to a family with my injuries. But one day, I just couldn't stand it and I begged her for the truth. "I need to know what happened to the cafe. Was it destroyed? Damaged? What? Tell me." I could see the denial was already forming on her lips when she started to break down. Tears rising in her eyes, my loving, strong wife closed those beautiful lids, somehow pushed the tears away, and when they lifted again, only a little dampness clung to her long lashes. "It will be fine," she declared firmly. I left it alone, but repeated the questions when Vivan came in, pretending to smuggle a serving of malai kofta from one of my favorite restaurants. Nisha was going home to shower and have dinner with Gianna, so I knew I had a couple hours with Vivan. I would pry the truth out of him one way or another. And my good friend told me everything. The cafe was destroyed and nothing had been salvaged, not even a coffee bean. The pictures I had so painstakingly selected to enhance the ambience, the bright red and white striped cushion on the sofa in the corner, nothing left. All of it was gone. I didn't react much when he told me the truth that day. In fact, I really knew I just needed the word spoken to the seal to envelop all my dreams. Now, though with all my emotions on the surface, barely protected by this thin layer of new skin that both protected and mirrored my body, I let the truth rise up. I heard that tsunamis sucked the water down the ocean sands, gathering strength before they attacked a wall of merciless killing water. My tears did the same, trickling one at a time down my cheeks before a torrent was unleashed. pushing past my eyes so fast it was almost like the organs had disappeared, letting the tears erupt with no obstacles. I heard, rather than saw, Vivan push off the bed and kneel on the floor beside me. I felt his strong hands wrap around mine, carefully putting his reassuring pressure on my undamaged skin rather than my healing areas. I don't know how long my friend knelt on the floor before me, letting me shed the bitter, scared, frustrated tears that I had kept so carefully filtered from my normal life, the one that didn't allow random emotions. As my tears started to abate, he slid onto the large chair beside me and took my broken form into his large embrace. Embarrassed even than my weakness, I turned my head to his presence, seeking the normality my best friend offered. Then I shook my head, suddenly embarrassed, and sat up quickly, using the unbroken parts of my hands to push away the rest of the tears. Vivan, I started, mortified. I mean, I was not a man who let sentences settle unfinished. I was raised to be strong, to say what I felt, unapologetically. But here I was, a crumpled pile of little scrap paper, made of a tear-stained nothingness. I despised the feeling. I'm sorry, I said. Don't be. Try and heal the force within yourself that will allow you to do many things. Healing, forgiving, or sustaining. Allow those tears sometimes, and one day you won't need them anymore because you will have healed. Healing? I scoffed at that word. Kabir? Vivan responded helplessly. Tell me what is going on. I sniffled. I'm not sure I can, to be perfectly honest. Try, he said urgently. Kabir, please. We all thought you'd be happy to go home. What has changed? I hung my head, letting the weight of my problems pull it down for a few moments. It's everything, Vivan, I asked, almost pleading. How did things change so fast? I know I have had a month to come to terms with everything, but truly, how did it happen? 1 minute. I was on the top of the world. Of course, to me at the time, it was just another normal day, but it was good. It was a constant I knew. I took in Vivan's face, twisting with his own empathetic pain. And then, I continued, it all changed in the blink of an eye. Now here I am, some hideous version of the Kabir I was. As he would, I knew Vivan was catching his breath to argue. The faithful companion he was. I won't let him speak though, don't, I commanded. His breath let out, but he said nothing. I kept going. People used to come to Cafe Kabir simply because of what we offered. And that was, Vivan whispered, consistency, for starters. I said they came for the same darn cup of coffee every day. One cream, two sugars, didn't matter. When they left with their coffee, they could trust that it tasted the same that it did yesterday and 2 weeks ago, and would taste in the next month or even year. But it was more than that. We were a normal group of people, so normal that we were really background music. Friendly music, yes, but only secondary because we were so normal. Look at me, I commanded, and Vivan's eye caught mine. No, I insisted. Look at my arms, my hands, my neck. What do you see? I knew he wasn't comfortable, even though he barely squirmed under the discomfort. Instead, his eyes racked over my burnt skin, his gaze too intense. It was almost physical, and I winced a little. My voice lowered, but I persisted. What do you see, Vivan? His eyes lifted to mine once more. I see you. You see a tarnished me, I argued. No, Kabir, he insisted. I see you. Changed a bit, yes, but these scars? He waved his hand over the whitish tissue. And this, hovering over my pink, tight new skin. This is all part of Kabir. Scars may change the appearance of the skin, but they are the way the body heals, and when the scar is formed, it adds a layer of strength that didn't exist before. You say that so easily, I responded darkly. Healing will be the most difficult thing you ever do, but it's also the most important. I wanted to believe his simple words, but I simply couldn't. Don't you see, Vivan? My differences, these scars, these are all signposts screaming. I am different. I don't want people to be uncomfortable around me. You are still you, Kabir. We hurt for a reason. Pain tells us there is a problem. If we don't feel it, we can fix it. Do you understand? No, it has changed. Cafe Kabir was a success because it wasn't changing. Now everything has changed. There isn't even. I choked on my emotions once more before clearing my throat again. There isn't even a Cafe Kabir. It's gone. I ended in a whisper of agony. We'll rebuild, he argued. I can't start over, I said helplessly. Look at this. I handed him the hospital bill and let his eyes take in all the numbers. 10 lakhs, I said. I don't have this kind of money. Everything I had, all our savings from my family and our new cafe, has gone in my treatment. I can't pay this and rebuild. Vivan took his time reading the tally charges before he swept the bill aside and stood up angrily. You can't take on this now, he said. How? I cried. How can I ignore this? Once again, Vivan sat at the foot of the hospital bed, frowning at me. Do not give this power. I sat back at my friend's ferociously determined words. I have to, I said. It's reality. No, he barked. Reality is this. You were hurt. You could have died, Kabir. After your accident, Nisha, Meera and I watched you fight for every next breath. At first, every few moments. Then you fought for the next minute, then the next hour, then the next day. You have been through nothing short of hell, but it's not over. Wow, so much for an optimistic pep talk. I thought dryly. I'm tired of fighting, I argued. You are tired, but you can't be tired of fighting, Kabir. The pain goes away, giving up does not. Giving up remains with you forever, a thorn in your shoe. You are still healing. You need to keep healing, and it isn't going to happen if you are worried about bills and rebuilding and everything else. And what do you suggest? I asked bitterly. Heal. I expected more, but he left it at that one word. It wasn't enough for me. That's it. Heal. Yes, Kabir, he said. Put all your energy into rebuilding that skin and fixing those scars. Find the new Kabir, the one who was hurt but the one who moved beyond that damage. But it's more than just on the outside. You need to heal on the inside too. How do you mean? When you heal, you don't just force the hurt aside. Pain is actually a welcome feeling because it means that you have not closed yourself off to life. You need to learn how to embrace it as your companion. For a little while, allow it to coexist with you for the time being. Don't use it to mark when your life ended, but where it began again. If I could, my friend, I would take away this pain, but even if I held my arms out as wide as possible, I could never capture all the hurt. I laughed bitterly. Don't take this the wrong way, but this is easy for you to say. His eyebrows raised. I'm your friend, Kabir. Don't you realize how much I would take on if I could? Friends stand by you no matter what. If you are hurting, they share your shadows. And when you celebrate, they are there to share the sunshine. I'm there with you in the darkness right now, as much as I want to tug you back into the light. As he said that, I felt his words wash over me. And for a moment, the pain was simply gone. What about Cafe Kabir? I asked. We'll figure it out when the time is right, he reassuringly. I was there for you in the beginning, right? I smiled tightly. Yes, I admitted. I couldn't have started my business without your investment and your confidence in me. That confidence is still there, my friend, Vivan said, leaning forward and squeezing my arm. And the investment will be there again. Life can hand us garbage, but we need to use it to fertilize our hopes and dreams once more. We will be together every step of the way. Yes, there is still pain, but you don't need to let yourself get hurt. I said nothing. What could I say? I couldn't keep taking from the man, but he seemed to read my thoughts and spoke again. Anytime now, investors will commit to my project and I can start my own business. It'll grow exponentially, he said confidently. And then I'll have the money to put back into helping you rebuild your business. I can't. When you're fully healed, he said, interrupting me. We will rebuild. You have to keep pushing ahead even when things seem hopeless. You'll find when you look back that you had a strength you never knew was in you before. I looked at him, seeing his determination but also seeing admiration on his face. A man only truly knows his worth when he sees himself in another person's eyes. My throat was tight once more, dammed up by the emotions of his pledge. All I could do was purse my lips and nod. Okay, I whispered. Vivan smiled. Ready to go now? He asked, and I nodded. Let me go and see what is keeping the discharge, nurse. They should be bringing your final forms any minute. He swept out of the room with an air of determination. Our conversation had helped alleviate a lot of my fears, but my anger was still there. Damn you, fate, I spat. You stole my livelihood from me. You could have let me continue my happy life. But no, you thought it would be fun to toy with my life. I swear this to you, you will not win.